This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you from an article I read from MSN Money. Millennials are falling out of the American middle class. The reason why I pay so much attention to demographics and what's happening with different demographic groups, especially millennials who are coming after, supposed to be the largest group after the baby boomers, is because what affects demographics eventually affects policy, and we can see the changes that's going on now with the new especially for running for the Democratic policy, all these individuals talking about different aspects of just things that I never thought would be in my lifetime, reparations and things of that nature. Part of this possibly is because you see articles like this, millennials are falling out of the American middle class, and just looking at different ways of doing things. So we're just living in the most interesting times as it is. And if you're not aware, you just need to pay attention and keep aware of what's going on. I'm going to dive right into the article. Of course, titles catch my attention. I'm going to put a link inside the description. The share of the middle class people is falling across developed nations from 64% of households in the mid-1980s to 61% in the mid-2010s. Only 6 of 10 millennials in wealthier countries can earn enough to be considered middle class. Now, this is doing a little bit more differently. They're doing more of a global aspect. That's what intrigued me when I was reading the article. In the U.S., a single worker must earn roughly $23,000 to $62,000 to be considered middle class. Interesting. So this is the $62,000 must be the high upper income middle class, I guess, and the $23,000 may be the lower end of the middle class. But look at these numbers. This is interesting and staggering that if you can middle class income, and I did a video about this before, how it's dropped down dramatically for even reaching the lower echelons of 23,000. Half of all middle income households in wealthier countries now struggle to make ends meet. So it's not just the U.S., it's going on global. The global middle class is witnessing a historic hollowing out, with the younger generation struggling to find their financial foothold in many wealthier countries around the world, including the U.S. Only 6 out of 10 millions earn enough to be considered middle class, compared to 7 of 10 baby boomers at the same age. And this is showing you the reason why this sentence alone shows you why you need to think about everything differently. And when you're listening to the baby boomers, they can't provide wisdom. It's just that the world is completely different, and they're based sometimes when they're giving you information is based on when they were at the age, and how they were able to do things, and that's not applicable anymore. The share of middle class citizens is falling across the developed nations, slipping from 64% of global households in the mid-1980s to 61% in the mid-2010. The OECD said. Younger generations are bearing the brunt of the middle class decline, with each subsequent generation less likely to achieve financial stability compared with the boomers, it added. It's a wake-up call to all of us about what indeed is the situation for the middle class, said Stefano Scarpetta, Director of Employment, Labor, and Social Affairs at the OECD. It used to be that you failed to accomplish something by reaching the middle class. You were stable. The sense of security is gone for many. Even if they reach it, it's no longer a stable situation. Now that's fascinating. It's showing you right now that even if you reach the middle class, let's say you get to those particular economic levels, what they just mentioned there, 23 to 62,000, it's no chance that you can stay there. The OECD, and that's just even in that, it's wow. The OECD represents 36 of the world's largest economies. Many middle class people in industrialized nations are under pressure because of the confluence of several trends, including an increasingly precarious labor market where automation is eroding some middle skilled jobs. On top of that, the cost of services required to maintain a middle class lifestyle, housing, education, and healthcare is rising far more rapidly than incomes, ejecting many workers from the middle class. Scarpetta said, anything can happen that lets you drop down from the middle class. So what is the middle class income? Earning between 75% to 200% of the median national income is considered middle class. In the U.S., that translates between $23,416 and $62,442 for a single worker, according to the OECD. Other organizations have slightly different yardsticks for the middle class, such as Pew's income range of about $26,000 to $78,000 for a single U.S. worker. Middle class income hasn't kept up with the growth in income enjoyed by wealthier people, the OECD said. Since the recession, the annual rate of growth of real median incomes across the group's countries was a meager 0.3%, compared with a 1.6% between the mid-1990s and mid-2000. 20% spend more than they earn. Other factors weighing on those in the middle class, are the rising cost of housing, education, and healthcare. As a result, half of all middle class income households in wealthier countries now struggle to make ends meet, the OECD found. 1 in 5 middle class households spend more than what they earn. Repeat this again. 1 in 5 middle-class households spend more than what they earn, which is increasingly indebtedness, Scarpetta said. It's becoming more difficult for the middle class to pay for things they need. These days, most families need two earners to achieve a middle income life, while in the past, one earner with a high-skilled job would often suffice. So let's just take this number. If we go into the lower middle class, which they have here about 23 to 26,000, and you have another 26,000, you're roughly, about 51 or 52,000, or in some cases, if you're the 23, you're not even making it to 50K, and that's to get you to get to the middle class income. But if you have a family, if you're on the lower end of that numbers that they said, is that really enough for you to have an existence inside the United States that's making anything without using credit cards and other debt instruments just to make your living? The middle class is, in most developed economies, under pressure, Scarpetta said, a threat to nation's social economic stability. It is the backbone of our society, both economically and socially. It's the largest share of the population. The fact that they are struggling should be a source of concern for everyone. Well, should be a source of concern. Policies that strengthen the middle class could help. That includes tax policies that ensure the richest citizens pay their fair share of taxes, Scarpetta said. Other policies such as helping women with families stay in the workforce and training workers at risk of job loss due to automation also benefit the middle class. Without such support, he said, the risk is you may have a further weakening of the middle class. It's just fascinating that in any economic society where you're having large sums of income and the disparity is becoming more and more, when you see things like this, especially not just in the United States, happening globally, it's just explaining a lot more and how you need to be prepared and just not take life the way it was before. We're living in such a different time, and old adages will not be the old way of doing. The old way of doing things is just not keeping up. And the more I keep reporting on this and keeping you aware of this, it just shows that you need to do things differently. If this video has been any value to, please subscribe, leave some comments. Until my next video, I'm out.